Welcome to 123 Minimize with Jody and Linnea, the podcast where we discuss easy minimalism for busy moms. Whether you're a new mom in need of practical decluttering tips or an experienced parent seeking simplified routines, you've come to the right place. I'm Jody, wife and full-time working mom of 4. In 2017, I founded the Minimalist Mom Facebook group, now with over 270,000 members. My passion is creating a simple, healthy, and happy home where my family can thrive.
I'm Linnea, a homeschooling mom of 4. In 2021, my family and I sold our house, downsized to a 36-foot travel trailer RV, and embraced minimalism. Living with less has been liberating, and I'm thrilled to share tips and experiences to help you simplify your life. Whether you're sitting down, getting stuff done, or lacing up your walking shoes, welcome to the 123 Minimize podcast.
Okay, today we're going to be talking about minimalism and vacations. So, Linnea, you live full-time in an RV with your family.
Yep.
And I would think a common question for you is, what does it feel like to be on vacation all the time?
Yes, to which I just laugh because we are not on vacation all the time by any means. In fact, a lot of times it's more work.
Yeah.
Just to be honest. There's more chores, and they're chores that have to be done now.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to move, we can't wait to go through that pile of stuff that's sitting on the counter.
Yeah.
You don't have the luxury of
Relaxing and dealing with it when you get home.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you take a vacation when you're full-time living in an RV with a family of 6? What would you like differentiate between your real life, everyday life, and a vacation? How do you draw the line?
It's true. So, I mean, the benefit of RV living is that we can choose where we want to go within reason and follow the weather. So being somewhere where we can be outside even in the winter months of the year. So, you know, what we love about it is that we can see things that we have never seen before together. And sometimes that's just on an evening after work and school. And so that can feel like vacation because sometimes it is sightseeing.
Yeah.
Or going to a national park we've never been before, or hiking in a mountain that we've never seen. We're not from a place that has mountains, or being on the beach. Like we still, during the day, we still have to work. We still have to do our chores. We still have to get groceries and do laundry and the schoolwork and all of that. So there's definitely lots of work to be done. But then in the evenings, we try to do something outside together if we can. And on the weekends. So we'll pick a place and try to do weekend, like day trips from there. So the lines do get blurred between everyday life and vacationing. And so when we do want to take a vacation, it might look like booking maybe our fancier place that has special amenities, like a KOA or something that has like a mini golf course in the campground, or I know there's some that have like horseback riding there, or organized activities for kids where they can get together and do something. Maybe it would look like just taking some time off of work to specifically go and see some things maybe over a few days in a row, so that we're, if we're in an area where there's a bunch of museums or other activities, or maybe an amusement park or something that we want to do, that we would take time off of work and school just to do that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it can look like vacation. I mean, honestly, there are some places that we've stayed where they have like a pool and a hot tub. And so we do get to enjoy those amenities more often, but it's not like we sit around in the pool all day. Anyway, like I said, we still have to do real life stuff, but.
Right. Yeah. So for us, a minimalist vacation involves simplifying our travel plans to focus on relaxation and experiences. So we've gone on a variety of different vacations. Of course, a staycation, which is mostly me digging into a bunch of projects.
Yeah.
So I don't know, probably not the most fulfilling thing for me to be vacationing in my own home because it's unending stuff to do. I think I'd have to have some really strict rules, and then sometimes I don't like to follow my own rules, and so right there, the whole thing's ruined. We've gone camping, and we've flown places, and we've done
Yes.
big road trips where we stayed in different hotels every night. We haven't done a lot of trips where we stayed in one place except camping.
Mm-hmm.
This spring, we're going to be going on a trip and staying in one spot for a couple weeks at an Airbnb. We're going to be driving there, and that will be my first experience with an Airbnb, and I'm really excited about that. But we will be working from the Airbnb, so it'd be similar maybe to your life, just taking the whole pile to another location, and then so we can stay there an extended period of time instead of taking a couple weeks of PTO.
Mm-hmm.
So for vacations, I'm going to start with trips where you have to fly. Because for us, that is really where minimalism comes into play.
Yeah.
That's where I've really experienced the benefits of minimalism.
Right.
So biggest tip there is to pack light, bring only essential items, and avoid overpacking. Really think about what you're going to need and what you have to bring from home versus what you can purchase when you get there.
Yes.
What is easy to fly with. We never check bags when we go on flights. Everybody has a backpack. They carry their own backpack, and we don't have any other bags. When we fly like Sun Country or Spirit, it hasn't been a problem for us at all. It's cheaper. We don't have to wait by baggage claim. We don't have to worry about our luggage getting lost.
Right.
And just that extra time, because we've gone on trips where it's like park our car at some shuttle, get on a little bus, get to the main part of the airport, leave, and then maybe land and have to take another shuttle to like a bus that takes you to a rental car.
Right.
And all of that would get so much slower if you're waiting for baggage and dragging a whole bunch of stuff with you. And I want my hands free to hold the hands of my younger kids and to just be kind of available and ready and not hoping they follow me through a really crowded airport in another state.
Yep.
We also do laundry on vacation. So that's how we can fit like a week's worth of clothes in a small backpack, is we're counting on the fact that we can wash our clothes halfway through. So one tip is don't bring quarters on a plane, because that does trigger security to have to check through your bag.
Wow.
I feel like I get triggered at security a lot.
Oh, no.
I don't know why, but where they pull you aside or they take your bag aside. And so last time I actually asked, I'm like, I feel like this happens to me a lot. Am I accidentally bringing something that is setting off the machine?
Yeah.
Because I don't have to bring whatever's in there. And she's like, oh, you have some quarters in here. And quarters block that x-ray machine.
Oh.
And so automatically, if you have a bag of change, that's going to beep it and put it to the side.
Wow.
And then I had to wait in a really long line
Oh, no.
of bag checking. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's quick, but this time there's a lady, a couple people in front of me that was arguing with them over liquids.
Oh, no.
And so we're just all there waiting because she's not going to win. You know, they're pretty stern
Yeah.
at with TSA. So don't bring quarters, even if you're going to need them. Just pop by a bank and they'll be able to exchange, $5 or $10 into quarters. So that'd be my live and learn advice. We usually try to wear our heaviest clothes on the plane. So if we're bringing like tennis shoes and flip-flops, I'm wearing the tennis shoes.
Sure.
If I'm bringing jeans and a bunch of shorts, you can see that we're flying from a cold area to a warm area too, right? It's already in there.
Right.
If you're going to have I'm from a different era and where we layer our clothes. So I'd bring like a tank top and then a t-shirt and a sweatshirt maybe. And then when we land, I'll just pop into the bathroom at the airport and change into something that's more appropriate for whatever warm weather we landed at. I will tell you that one time it was the middle of winter, and at our airport, we have to park at this extended parking area and then take a little shuttle to the airport. And you don't want to take your winter coat. So it might be 20 degrees negative, and now you're in your sweatshirt waiting in the parking lot where the little bus circles around and you get on. So I thought, well, here, I have to put my small carry-on bag, my backpack. So I'm just going to wear a couple of tank tops, a shirt, and a sweatshirt. And I will just be, this is great because, it's like more layers. I can be warm, but then I can just pop one off in the bathroom, throw it back in my bag after I get through, landed. And the 2 tank top thing got me pulled aside into a separate room.
What?
Where they questioned me about why I would dress like that.
Oh, my God.
So maybe some of my advice isn't the best. I don't know why. I just call it my pre-flight massage because I have never gotten through it without getting at least a pat down.
So you always have to block extra time.
I do. I don't know why.
Oh
I do not know why, but in Miami, they checked everything I had for drugs. Okay, go for it. That's fine.
Oh.
But yeah, in that special room, they're like, I need you to take off your shoes and your socks. We need to look at the bottom of your feet. I'm like, sure. That's as far as it went. And then like some questioning, why would you dress like this? And I'm like, well, I'm a millennial. We like to layer. Do you not remember like all the layers of everything? And also, I'm flying to Florida. It's January. It's really cold outside. Like, you can take all my clothes. I don't know. Like, it's 5-0 to hide, but it was just a little bit extra time. And so whoever I'm traveling with always laughs too. I've had like them take my picture, getting my pre-flight massage, you know. So
Oh my goodness.
it makes for a good laugh and a good story, and you just get through it. But anyway, wear your heaviest clothes instead of like packing the big bulky sweater. Just wear that. That way your bag gets smaller and you can always take it off later. Also, I think planes get cold sometimes. I mean, for me, they get cold. And then it is nice to have that extra sweater on and not like stow it away in your bag where you have to bother other passengers to get it out.
Yep.
When I'm traveling with the kids, I like to take 2 trash bags because I use that as my laundry baskets when I'm at the hotel. Because that's another like logistical thing is, okay, we're packing half of our clothes. We're going to do laundry and then we're going to wear them again. And then now how are you going to carry the dirty clothes and then what are you going to put it in when they're clean?
Yep.
And so it's kind of nice to have that, some kind of container, so you're not just loose leaf carrying clothes down the hallway, underwear falling out, and you just because there's no baskets, you know, available. So we also like to limit electronics. So try to download your audiobooks, podcasts, movies, and just have one device per kid. Or when we've traveled, we've just had each of the adults had a device. But then you have to be aware of if you have a really long delay and you have small children, how are you going to entertain them?
Right.
But having a mixture for us of like audiobooks, something, maybe some music and a movie really helps. So they're not just watching a movie the entire time we're in the airport, the entire time we're flying, and having it downloaded ahead of time so you're not having to quickly right before you board, oh, I forgot to do this, download with airport Wi-Fi. We also try to keep our toiletries as low as possible just because, you know, you have the liquids limits and that's going to, you know, slow things down. When you're trying to get 6 people through security together, and a lot of them are kids, you know, it's nice. I have like the one snack bag and then a toiletries bag so that some airports will like take out all that stuff out of your bag and some say, leave it in. I never know what they're going to say, but it's always pretty intense. So I like to be ready instead of having to dig through each kid's bag to find those items. It's just like the one.
Sure.
So we either purchase toiletries when we land, like get in our rental car, stop by a Walmart or something and grab our shampoo, conditioner. We all use the same stuff anyway. And typically if we're going to a beach a lot, we're showering often because of the salt water. And so we use a bunch of it, and that way we can just leave it when we're done.
Sure.
And fly back without it.
I know if you have really small children, sometimes having some like calming toys or activities for downtime or like big emotions, that might be helpful. Maybe pack like a lunchbox for the plane, or, you know, like you said, snacks.
And just be aware of like what snacks constitute as liquids.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to use like applesauce packets or anything like that.
I'm sure sometimes TSA agents let those pass, but maybe sometimes they don't, and now you have to throw away your stuff. So I always try to go on the edge of being more cautious,
right?
Just so that we can speed our whole family through security really quickly.
Yeah.
Then I get pulled to the side, but whatever. My husband knows where the gate is. He can continue on without me.
I feel like sometimes it changes, so I like to just go on to the TSA website right before and just make sure that I know
what's up,
what the most current thing is.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned like stopping by a Walmart or something. You could even order ahead for a pickup if you feel like you're going to be traveling all day and you're going to be tired. You're not going to want to stop at the store. Or even if you're staying at like in an Airbnb or something where it's a place that you can have delivery, you could also try and do that too for any extra snacks or groceries or toiletries, like you said. Anything that you could use up while you're there.
Yeah. One trip we took where we flew down to Louisiana and then we took a big road trip to Florida. We had the mixture of limited items because we're flying, but then we typically on our trips, we like to go to the grocery store instead of eating out 3 times a day. Yeah. So we actually bought a cooler and we used it on our trip, different hotels. lots of lunches on the beach or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when we got to our last hotel, I had this cooler. And so I just went down to guest services and asked anybody, there was maintenance people there and some staff, if anybody wanted a free cooler. So, hey, they could pass it on to somebody else. It didn't end up in the trash. It was cleaned out. And I didn't want to return it to the store after using it for a week. And so it was easy. I didn't have to fly back with a cooler.
That's a great idea.
It was also cheaper to get the cooler and the groceries than to feed 6 people at restaurants all week.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard some tips about people, they were on a trip and they just realized there were just a bunch of random things they forgot to pack and they ended up having to buy. And then they were just like annoyed that they had all this extra stuff. What they do is they'll just leave those things in their suitcase after they get home so that they don't even have to remember, like, oh, yeah, I forgot those things last time. You know, maybe it's like, you know, certain medications or scissors or charging cables or... Also, a thing that could be really helpful would be to keep a list. Like maybe you go on a trip and you keep a list for yourself of the things that you ended up needing to buy or things you forgot or what things you actually used and what things you packed that you didn't use or the things you may be like, oh, I wish I had brought this or I wish I didn't bring all, you know, this.
I didn't need
5 sweaters or whatever. But just start that list and then you have that for next time, so you're not starting from scratch trying to remember. You could almost keep a different list for different types of vacations. So like maybe you're taking a beach vacation, or maybe you're taking a road trip, camping, or maybe you're like going skiing. And like totally different set of things that you need. But if you take notes for yourself, then you can draw from that packing list next time and not be so, you know, it can cut down anxiety of over like forgetting something or having too many things.
Right. Yeah. We also were pleasantly surprised when we got to the beaches of Florida that there are bins of toys, beach toys that you can just use. Because I think a lot of tourists like fly in, they go to the store, they buy stuff, and then they leave it on the beach. So like the beach, you know, maintenance or whatever had a bin and it was like anybody could use it.
Nice.
So we could just take stuff out because we didn't bring anything because we're flying. And then we're not just going to buy a bunch of stuff. We're going to kind of go down and evaluate the situation. And we were so surprised that, hey, this is for us to use. And we could just dig around the sand a little bit and then put it back in the bin.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. For road trips, because we've gone on some pretty large road trips, nowhere as near you guys have gone on, of course. We're just talking about getting in the vehicle, staying in a hotel, driving in the vehicle. And seeing things. But national parks, it is harder to get stuff. So definitely when we were vacationing in the Southeast, it was easy. Oh, you need something. I'm going to run into a Walgreens. I'll be right out. 5 minutes. When we were out by Yellowstone, there's nowhere. Like, there's nowhere. You really do need to plan ahead a little bit more.
Well, and if it's a road trip and you're going somewhere remote, you can research and find where's the last big city or big town that we're going through. And, you know, maybe it's only an hour or two from your destination. So at that point, you can kind of stock up on what you think you might need grocery-wise or toiletries or whatever. Yeah,
it's nice to keep an eye on, you know, where the last gas station is for a while or the last store. One time we went on a trip and, you know, the chaos of getting ready for a trip when everybody's like 10 and under. And like, you know, okay, do you have this? And did you for sure put your sweatshirt in your backpack? Show me. Right?
Don't take it out of your bag.
Don't touch your bag now. Put it right in the car. And so everybody go potty one more time and get in the car. We get like 4 hours down the road. Somebody has to go potty. Okay, great. This is huge progress. I don't have any shoes. Somebody got in the car without shoes. And you're just like, okay. What do I do now? So thankfully there's stores around, even a small store. It was some store that was not a chain, but they just happened to have like a ugly pair of Crocs. I think it was not something I would have normally bought. Crocs are fine, but this specific pair was like, but you have no choice. You have to just go with it. So sometimes you will forget something and you're going to have a compromise of some kind. But having lists ahead of time is a great idea. I keep lists in Google Docs where I save my old trips and I'll have like the packing list and then the itinerary. And so I'll adjust it, cross stuff out, and then I'll have that for years. If I want to go back and look at what did we really do? Where did we stay? And then, of course, I have a separate list just for camping because that can happen more often.
Right.
And we actually have a camping PDF on our website.
Yeah.
123minimize.com that you can print off, and it has a minimalist camping packing list, which is different, of course, than a vacation list.
Right.
You kind of need more stuff when you're camping.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a tent, something to sleep in.
Yep.
Yeah. But on our big road trips, something that was helpful was to have, I made a cardboard like tray with some cloth and cardboard sit on the little kid's lap in the car seat.
Oh.
And so they could have Legos or have a snack or have a coloring book. And that way they weren't spending as much time watching a movie when they're driving. And I figured with like the flimsiness of it, if there was an accident or something, it probably wouldn't be like hard plastic because it was kind of bendable. You know what I mean? Like hard plastic just flying around the car. So they really liked it. Some kids do not like that concept, but for us it was really helpful. Instead of I drop something and I'm like reaching around and then they drop it again. Okay, just a second. Next time we pull over, I'll get that. I cannot reach it. It gave them like that tray to have some of their stuff when like toddler age.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's a story. This isn't really necessarily helpful to anyone, but just a funny story.
Yeah.
For us in the RV life, sometimes we're driving down the road and I'm like, oh, I forgot. Oh, wait a minute. Our whole house is behind us right now. Never mind. And then other times when we're detached, because we have a bumper pull, we don't have an all-in-one. So whenever we get somewhere, we detach from our trailer and then we'll drive to go on like day trips. So then the opposite happens sometimes. We'll be, I'll think, oh yeah, I've got everything. And then all of a sudden we get there, I'm like, wait a minute, we don't have the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't have that thing. I forgot it.
Right.
It's such a different thing, but it's kind of funny. That happens to me all the time. I forgot. Oh no.
Your whole house is
behind.
back there. Yeah. I love it. On vacations, I think it's important to slow down and plan fewer activities to reduce stress
Yeah.
and kind of embrace that leisurely pace, because a vacation is for you too.
Yeah.
But I do know and accept that when you have little kids, which we've both done, I mean, we still have little kids.
Yeah.
They're not grown adults, you know. When they're really little, vacations are not a vacation for the mom.
No.
You're just doing dishes in another location.
Right.
You're just changing diapers in another location.
Chasing kids around.
Yeah. It's hard. It's good memories and it's important. And it's a good time to connect as a family.
Yeah.
But it is exhausting.
It is.
So to think you're going to come back totally rested, probably lower the expectations there. It's a lot of work. Even now it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know. Just not as much work as when it was babies and toddlers. That was more work. Yeah.
Right.
We like to spend time in nature too, going and hiking, picnics, looking at stars. We don't necessarily see the stars as vibrantly where we live because of city lights. But when we get out there, it is gorgeous. And instead of just doing stuff in cities.
Yeah.
I do like to explore a city, but some of our best vacation memories are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This past winter, we were in the Southwest and we went to Joshua Tree National Park in California. And it was the coolest thing ever because we had heard from someone else about this secret hike.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what does that mean, secret? It just means it's not marked.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find, but it's like a specific like area because there's lots of huge boulders and rock piles and things. And it's this really like it's an actual like hike, you know, where you can find it. And there's like this little opening. And if you find it and you're going through this like narrow corridor, and then there's this other part, I think they call it the coffin. And like, it was so exciting. Because we had to find it.
Yeah.
And we were actually there with some other friends. And I think, you know, we didn't pay anything to be there. Well, we have a pass.
Yeah.
A national park
to get
pass.
into the park, yeah.
But aside from that, there was no expense on this trip.
Yeah.
And it was so memorable for my kids. We looked and looked. It maybe took us like an hour or more to find it. But when you find it, you know, you feel like you're on a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
And we found it. It was so exciting. And so it doesn't always have to be expensive or like stressful, like packed one thing after the other. I mean, this was a whole day, but it was perfect.
Oh, that's such a good reminder. And there's also the Every Kid Outdoors program that provides a free National Park Pass for 4th grade kids. So if you have a kid around 4th grade, that would be a good year for you guys to go see some national parks. We've used that in the past for whoever was in 4th grade, and we'll hopefully use it in the future.
And actually, the requirements are based on being 10.
Sure.
So if your kid is 10 and they're not exactly in 4th grade, don't count yourself out on that one.
Yeah. Great. So we've saved money on our vacations by cooking for ourselves.
Yeah.
And how we typically do that is if it's a big road trip where we're driving a lot during the day, we just buy like sandwich or wraps or something like that kind of ingredient, which you can find at most stores, and then put it in the cooler and then kind of have a picnic every day on some beach or in the woods somewhere or whatever. Just there's lots of pull-offs in national parks.
Yeah.
Yellowstone, Grand Tetons. We found so many picturesque spots to eat.
Oh, yeah.
It's way better than sitting in a restaurant and waiting. It's also faster. So if you have more stuff that you want to see,
Yes.
doing a quick picnic can be faster than like ordering and waiting, going into a city. There's also not a lot of places to eat when we were out there. So we didn't even have that choice. But even on other trips, even on our Alabama, Florida trip, we ate the food that we brought. So in the morning, we might eat at the hotel or have something that we're eating at the hotel. And then I make lunch and then pack it. Or I'd make lunch on my lap while we're driving. That year that I did a lot of that, I brought a big cookie sheet and I put that on my lap. And that was kind of like my counter. So I could like properly make a bunch of sandwiches and pass them back to the kids. And a friend told me a good idea for that is to get bowls instead of plates, because you can put their sandwich or a trail mix or something, depending on what you're feeding them, in a bowl, and it's less likely to fall off their lap than on a plate, especially if you're driving through. Like we're sitting anyways, let's eat lunch, and then let's keep going. Of course, depending on the age of your kids. Like if your kids are young and you're worried about choking, I probably wouldn't do that.
No, yeah.
I'm talking about older kids that are able to handle eating in the car.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So let's talk about souvenirs, because that comes up a lot in our Minimalist Mom group. You guys go all over the place. How do you like resist that tourist souvenir type draw?
It is hard. It is hard. That's a lot of saying no to my kids.
Yeah.
But what helped was we kind of established, our standard. And that for us has just been getting an ornament for our tree from all the different national parks or memorable places. Of course, if you already have a ton of ornaments and you struggle with that, this would not be a good tip for you.
Yeah.
But we keep it pretty minimal already with ornaments because we're in a trailer.
Small. Yeah.
So for us, it's really special. And then we plan when we're done RVing and we're in a house again, we're going to keep our short tree that we have and just put our travel ornaments on that tree.
Yeah.
And then we can use our other normal tree for the other ornaments. So that's one thing we do. And that's pretty affordable. They're usually like $6 or $8 or something, and they can be really special. Like they really, signify the place that we visited. But even more than that, like my son really wanted to start collecting something, and he had a water bottle, so I let him get a sticker from the place, and he puts on his water bottle, and that's a really lightweight thing that doesn't add weight to our trailer. It's not something we have to store anywhere. It goes on his water bottle. And then this isn't really for us, but we get postcards that we can send to people. Yeah. And sometimes we forget to send them, and then they become for us. Yeah. But that's what we have done.
Yeah. When I was a kid, we went on a really big trip from Wisconsin all the way to California and back in kind of like a big oval. And I remember buying those spoons. Do you remember the state spoons?
Yes.
I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Okay. So I was really excited about that as a kid. And then, of course, I'm an adult. My mom's like, do you want these? I'm like, no. Where would I put that? So it's just funny how it kind of changes. What I have done is when I'm traveling without the kids, especially, that, mom's home and they want something, I'll buy maybe something really specific to the area that I went. Like a food, a candy that's specific. Sure. Not a ton of it, but like a little bit. Something different. And honestly, the airport has it. Just like, I might go to all wonderful, like, open markets and stuff. And I'm, it's the same stuff I find. I try to find something that somebody made, or it's really but it's honestly hard to find, I think. Or a t-shirt. in their size. Something they can wear right away. My girls, as they got older, are definitely like, probably not going to wear that, as their style kind of comes around. But the boys definitely are still into that. And I figured, well, we're on a trip. If you want a t-shirt, you can have it. You can wear it. You can wear it for the whole rest of the year. You're going to grow, and then we're going to pass it on. It's probably similar to the price as buying a t-shirt at a store here. And for little kids, it's kind of a conversation topic. Oh, have you been there? You know, oh, my mom just went there. But if that's not their thing, I would look around and really didn't want clutter. I didn't want stuff sitting around. Some trips a long time ago, we'd buy like a magnet. And then I didn't want magnets on the outside of my refrigerator because it was more clutter. And so then they're in a drawer, and then eventually it broke. And then I felt almost guilty, like, oh, I should have kept this. But I have the memory of going to that place without the magnet or without the t-shirt or without the candy. You still have the memory, and you might have a couple of photos.
Right.
So you don't really need to buy stuff just to be like, I went on a trip. And if I don't buy stuff, I didn't really go on the trip. Yeah. Right? So I think it's totally fine to come back with nothing but memories. Even I've come back with shells, and then I'm like, why did I put this in my bag and fly home with this? The one thing that has been kind of fun is I went to one beach in Florida and collected shark teeth, like on my own, finding shark teeth. And I do have those still, and someday maybe I will go and spread them on a lake. I'm kidding. And then everybody will be very confused. Especially like Lake Superior. That would be like perfect. Dark,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'd probably get in trouble for that. So I won't. I'll officially not do that. I'll keep them in my jar. But so just collecting memories over objects.
Yeah. Well, one other thing that we do have is a sticker map of the states of the United States. So that's really fun to put that on there and to see the states being added as we go. And I don't know what we'll do with it when we're done traveling. Maybe we'll frame it and hang it on our wall because that will be a special memory. I'm not super into scrapbooking. Yeah. And maybe I'll make some video compilations for us to watch when we're all done. Yep. And that'll be a great way to have a memory that's not taking up much clutter at all.
Yep. So just remember that a minimalist vacation is about simplicity, mindfulness, and making the most of your time away from everyday life.
This is a great time to mention our upcoming Spring Declutter event in April 2024. We will be holding a 4-week Facebook event that has been designed to help you reach your minimalist goals. We will provide you with all the tools and the structure that you need to be successful. You'll receive a 70-plus page workbook and be a part of a private Facebook group for connection and accountability. We'll also provide you with guidance through daily tasks, tips, prizes, and coaching. Registration is now open at our website, and we would love to have you join us.
And that's a wrap for today's episode about minimalism and vacations. We hope you enjoyed this topic and found a few tips that might help you in your journey.
We want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our amazing listeners for tuning in. Your support and curiosity are what keeps us going. For more tools and resources to help you on your journey toward a simpler life, visit our website, www.123minimize.com. If you found today's episode valuable, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an opportunity to explore new ideas and perspectives. And if you're inclined, leave us a review, which helps to spread the word to others who might enjoy the journey too. As always, feel free to connect with us on Facebook or Instagram to share your thoughts, suggestions, or just to say hi. Until next time, stay motivated. Take care.